The studio lights buzzed overhead as Greg Gutfeld leaned forward in his chair, eyes narrowed, voice lowered, a tone he reserved for when things were about to get real. Across from him, Megyn Kelly sat poised but visibly tense, clutching a folder in her lap. Cameras rolled, the red light blinked, and the broadcast went live. Tonight, Greg began, we're not here to throw stones. We're here to tell the truth. That line echoed across households like a storm rolling in. The segment had been teased all week, promising revelations about the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, but no one expected what was coming. The story didn't begin with politics. It began with a girl named Denise. Denise Carter, now in her 30s, was a Chicago native, raised in the rougher part of the South Side. Life hadn't been kind. Her mother worked 2 jobs, her father was long gone. As a teen, she bounced between shelters and relatives' couches, sometimes even sleeping in her school's janitor closet to avoid the streets. One cold November morning, when Denise was just 14, a woman visited her school. That woman was Michelle Obama. Before the fame, before the First Lady title, Michelle was working in community outreach. She spoke to the students that day not like a guest speaker, but like someone who had walked in their shoes. When Denise approached her afterward, a desperate, trembling girl with hunger in her eyes, Michelle handed her something unexpected, a phone number. She told me to call if I ever needed help, Denise would say years later in a quiet interview. That one phone number changed her life. Michelle arranged for her to be placed with a host family, connected her to a local youth mentoring program, and even quietly paid for her after-school transportation, all without ever going public. There was no press release, no media campaign, no book deal chapter, just compassion, just action. For years, Denise tried to share her story. She wrote letters to networks, emailed journalists, even posted to forums, but no one listened. In an age driven by clicks and controversy, her heartfelt testimony never gained traction. Until now. Megyn Kelly found the story by accident. A researcher on her team stumbled upon an obscure message thread where Denise had posted fragments of her story. Something about it felt authentic. Not just the details, but the raw emotion behind the words. So Megyn tracked her down. In a dim apartment in Baltimore. Denise told her everything. The sleepless nights, the phone number, the mysterious acts of kindness from a woman who had already begun climbing the political ladder. But what struck Megyn most was that Denise never once seemed to be looking for fame, only justice, and recognition for a woman who had saved her life in the shadows. Back in the studio, Greg was skeptical at first. She's one of the most public figures of our time, he argued off camera. If this was true, why hasn't anyone said anything before? But Megyn, a seasoned journalist with instincts honed by decades in media, knew when someone was lying, and Denise wasn't. So, together, they dug deeper. School records, community center logs, interviews with people who remembered Michelle quietly attending fundraisers, organizing food drives, calling local churches about troubled kids. It was all real. So that night, on live TV, they did what no one expected. They didn't expose a dark secret. They uncovered a hidden one. A truth that Michelle Obama had carefully kept away from the spotlight. She didn't want credit, Megyn told the camera, her voice trembling slightly. She wanted change, and she made it happen, one child at a time. Greg, usually brash and irreverent, sat in thoughtful silence. This isn't about politics anymore, he said. This is about what real leadership looks like when no one's watching. The segment exploded online. Not with scandal, but with gratitude. Thousands shared their own stories of silent kindness, of quiet heroes, of moments that changed lives but never made headlines. Hashtag No Tau Secretsrock began trending by morning. Asterisk Michelle Obama never publicly responded. But insiders say she watched the segment, sitting quietly with her daughters beside her. When asked by a friend how she felt about it all, she simply said, "It was never about me. It was about the Denises of the world." Asterisk in the end, what was exposed wasn't a scandal, but a legacy of compassion. Asterisk and in a world hungry for drama, this story reminded us that sometimes, the most powerful revelations are the ones that inspire, not outrage. The ones that remind us that true greatness doesn't need to be seen, it just needs to be done.